Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's another race day. It's WrestleMania weekend. It's all sorts of things. Welcome to Spider Runs, and we're back with the Hey, Want a Race knockout stage of this Any Percent Race tournament. I am joined once again by Chuck Nicey here to join me on commentary for match number 1. Chuck, how are you
Hello,
doing?
hello. I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very excited. This first matchup especially is going to be very cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to first of all watch Willie Fetty versus Stop Jesse. Now, this one's very interesting because it is a rematch. We've already seen this go on the first time round. I believe they raced in round 1, I want to say. Hold on, I can fact check that actually. I believe they raced in round 1. They did. So they raced in round 1 already, and Fetty came out on top at a 36.42. Jesse was at 43.19. Now, that obviously was back at the very start of this race tournament and does not reflect where both runners are right now, I would say. Jesse is putting very good times. You can see his best race time is 38.30, but I know, or some of us also know, that he's recently just PB'd at the 35 minutes. He's hit the 35-minute mark. So his best race time, even though it's 38.30, his actual best time is the 35. So I'm sure he's going to be aiming for that today. Willie Fetty hitting that 31 mark as well. Only a few of us have hit the 31 and below mark during these runs. So he's one of them. He's one of the kings of PlayStation. We know this already. You can see the seed differential. He's sitting at seed number 3. Jesse at seed number 6. Obviously, we know Fetty's crazy on the categories. He runs a lot of categories. He's got 14 there, 8 of them being PlayStation. Whereas Jesse, keeping it classic, 2 of 2. 2 PlayStation runs, 2 total runs. Fetty tying me on most world records currently held in this tournament at 6. So, you know, the pressure really, I think, is on Fetty potentially this tournament. And this race, especially right now, to deliver. Chuck, talk to me about these runners and what you think of today's race.
Betty has done a lot of great work leading up to this, and I'm really excited to see how it goes. Jesse putting in a lot of work himself as well, doing a lot of self-improvement, which is very exciting to see, especially in a race format where it's one of the newer runners versus one of the best runners. And I know that not only are we running a bit behind in terms of our schedule, but Fetty, for reasons we won't really talk about here, is also kind of in a hurry to get this race through. So I wonder if that's when it comes to this race.
Yeah, you've got to think that's going to be running through his mind, I'm sure. Yeah, he wants to be out here as fast as possible, again, for reasons we won't go into, but it's very important to him that this race is cleared up quickly so that he can get back to what he was doing. So, without further ado, let's transition over to both runners who are sat waiting. We will just make sure that they are ready, and we can start pretty soon, ladies and gentlemen, pretty soon.
Fetty looks like he's ready. Jesse needing to get past the demo and get back to the screen.
He gives us the 1.
Wait a minute. Fetty is there we go. Fantastic. I thought he was gonna go with the Ben Riley skin. I thought he was gonna do something crazy on us, but no, he's sticking with the tried and true. Don't break a good thing. And we have another
We've got a Scarlet Spider
Spidey
off here. Yeah, this is interesting.
Ooh,
all right.
Very neat.
Battle of the egos, battle of the costumes. I think this will be really good. All right. We're going to say 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. And both runners should be starting. There we go. Now, perfectly. All right. We're off to the races, ladies and gentlemen. We are off to the races. And again, I don't think I said this actually when we're loading in, but it was in the stats screen. Jesse running on emulator, Fetty running on hardware. So this is a good one again to keep an eye on to see the little differences between both versions. It's not really massively drastic, apart from I think the hardware really is just a slight bit laggier, which is to be expected, but that is fine. Fetty making his way very smoothly through the first level.
But it looks like his timer is frozen.
His timer's frozen. Okay, good start. That's fine. It's because I think he's got it set up so that it's only one split. So I think he's pressed it not realizing that it actually will just stop it completely. So that's fine. So imagine splitting. Yeah, good point. So Celia in chat, imagine splitting. I think that sums it up very well.
For a second, I thought it was going to be that the fact that the auto splitter might have messed things up, but it's hard to say. Looks like he's just using a regular splitter. In this case, we just have to remember to add about roughly 30 seconds to his overall time for what we see at the very end, because that's about how long it took for him to get at the end, which
Indeed.
was blazing fast, by the way. That is a
Yeah.
blazing fast time for get to the bank.
Yeah. Fetty already inside the bank and making his way. Oh, but actually has fallen as we're about to praise him for making his way through the bank very, very quickly, has actually fallen. And as a result is now on par with Jesse's entrance to the bank, although Jesse struggling a bit to get the out of bounds here. He's trying to go for the quick out of bounds in the cutscene. Not paying off quite yet. And so Jesse will retain a bit of a lead. Oh, but didn't it looks like pick up the hostage. And so both runners. Oh, and Jesse, okay, now opting just to go the no skips route. So foregoing the out of bounds completely. Jesse's still in out of bounds territory. There he goes, claims the first hostage. Claims the second hostage, and we'll move on now. Nice zip. And we're there. Okay. So, this is all very exciting. Fetty is in the lead currently. It does look like his timer is too big, and so we can only see the seconds. So, this is also very exciting. But, I mean, basically, they both started at the same time, give or take a second or two. So, as long as you keep an eye on Jesse's timer throughout this, if you get confused about whatever Fetty's doing with his timer, you're pretty much on course for where both runners are. So don't worry too much maybe about Fetty's timer being a bit all over the place. Keep an eye on Jesse's and you're in a good spot.
Indeed. It's just a little bit of rough start for both of these runners here. Jesse had a bit of trouble with hostage situation himself. And then Fetty, of course, having to see him restart the level over and over again, that puts Fetty a little bit ahead, I want to say, as far as this is concerned. But unfortunately, just a rough start for both of these two. I'm hoping to see them bring it back and help clean up their movements a bit as we go along.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably just a bit of early race jitters, I'm sure, from both runners. I know Jesse's really determined to come out here and smash this time as much as possible, especially considering that, like we say, he got a 35 in his PB, just general offline runs, and on his submitted runs for the leaderboard. In race, though, obviously, it's a bit higher than that, so he's looking to come and try and match that 35 today, whereas Fetty's just trying to make sure that he can get this race done out of here as quickly as possible and prove to us all why he is one of the kings of the PlayStation.
Indeed. Don't let the hostage situation fool you. Fetty is one of the kings of PlayStation Spider-Man speedruns. Getting one of the best times we have on the leaderboard in multiple categories, including having the record on hardware for 100%, which is a deceptively difficult category to run
Yes.
for zipline training alone. We were just talking about that before the stream.
Oh, okay,
And
we got a fast Jonah.
Yeah, we got an unkind Jonah for Fetty. That seems about par for the course as far as bad luck is concerned. Jesse having a little bit of trouble getting to the vehicle
nice
itself.
Swing cancels, though. Maneuvers his way around that little portion of the building. Bit too low to zip up straight away, but he'll make his way up.
You want to make sure you're just past where the color gradient is for the fog before you zip up. So if you end up too low, you can end up wasting a little bit of time crawling.
Indeed. Right, let's see if Jonah is any kinder to Jesse now. A one cycle here could help narrow the lead a little bit more as Fetty is on the police chase levels. Let's see now. That's one combo. Jameson running to the plant. That's not ideal if he decides to run through that door. Oh, which he doesn't. He's going to run through the opposite door, which gives him a chance to one cycle. Okay. Bit of time closed in there, then that's really good. That'll help Jesse push towards bringing it back level with Fetty.
Jonah, obviously wanting to see a good show, decided to stick around and watch Spider-Man beat up Scorpion. helping to bring Jesse a little bit closer to where Fetty is. Now only one level behind.
Let's see. Barring any mistakes, now this should be a fairly straightforward section for both runners. A lot of movement, not really any skips until we get to scale the girders, and at that point we'll see maybe if either runner takes a different route, or obviously barring any mess ups with the trick, whether or not one will overtake the other and perform the trick smoothly.
Indeed. And with missile attack, I mean, the route is pretty much the same unless you want to try really hard and get a few zip cancels to decrease the crawling speed under each of these sort of lips of the building. But otherwise, you're going to see pretty much the same tactics from every runner when it comes to missile attack.
Yeah.
But it looks like Jesse is struggling just a little bit with that missile
no.
attack. Well, he's not going to die outright, luckily.
Okay.
But that is a significant time loss. Or at least not unsignificant, that's for sure. Which is going to allow Fetty to maintain his lead. Now, I wonder if Fetty is going to waste time with the Scale the Girders Spiderfly, given the fact that he is ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Fetty is keeping an eye. I know he said he wasn't necessarily going to be watching or listening to the stream at least this time. He's locked in apparently for this one, as is Jesse, as far as I'm aware. So I don't know if either runner is keeping an eye on the competition and where their opponent is in the race. So I don't know if that will affect anything that either runner does, but it does look like Fetty foregoing the flying spider, keeping things simple, keeping things classic, and we'll opt for the regular cutscene skip at the end here. Nice swings from Jesse though through these bits. Didn't even land on the little girder on this level and swung straight through and around the building, which does save a bit of time. Obviously, the less crawling you can do, the better.
And Fetty getting through Scale the Girders here the same way you'd expect this Kingdom Hearts speedrunner to get through it. Simple and clean. Simple and clean.
I like that.
Fetty, or I'm sorry, Jesse getting ready to get to Scale the Girders himself. Let's see if we can get a flying spider from him. Very scary dropping as low as he did getting into Scale the Girders. But I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Fetty getting ready to wrap things up and head to Rhino. And keeping it nice and clean as well here. Fantastic. And
Okay,
he's off to the races, Rhino.
It looks like Jesse will be attempting the flying spider. Let's see if he nails this again. He's going to want to nail as many tricks as possible to catch up to Fetty. It looks like he's got it. All right, just needs to float across.
Fantastic.
Ah, he's done it. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Indeed, that's going to help Jesse make sure that he can decrease this lead that Fetty has. But again, Fetty's no spring chicken. He knows exactly what he needs to be doing, even if he is using some older strats to get it done. The times that Fetty has is using some older strats, if I remember right.
Yes.
So this will be an uphill battle for Jesse. But the fact that he is managing to stay just a level, maybe less than 2 levels behind Fetty, is a real testament to how far he's come along.
Indeed. And employing the tricks, like we've said as well, that Fetty isn't employing, barring the bank skip earlier in the start of the race. But with the flying spider, maybe a good sign of things to come, potentially, for Jesse and his attempts on some of these harder and newer tricks that have been discovered. So we'll see if he continues to do that as he pushes towards now the Rhino fight. Fetty chilling with Rhino, with Venom, sorry, as he's chasing him through these girders here and the construction site. Swings across. He should jump in. Yeah, beautiful.
I was going to say, Fetty being extra careful not to let Venom just hang out on the construction building. That has been a bane of his existence in past runs, maybe not necessarily in this tournament, but he has been too fast for Venom and has had to restart the level in the past.
Indeed.
And now Jesse, ready to get into Venom himself. Let's hope Jesse doesn't make that mistake as well.
Absolutely. Only very silly people would make that mistake, of course.
Could you imagine?
Imagine doing that. I can't. Obviously, I can't imagine ever doing that. And there's definitely no proof of me ever doing that in a race. So we'll move on. And we'll watch now as Jesse continues to chase Venom. Or at some point, Venom should be chasing him, ideally, as he gets towards the construction site here. Good times for Willy Fetty on the other screen. He's making his way round and across. It looks like he should beat Venom there with pretty decent time. Maintains very good height. Will make his way there. Venom shouldn't be seen for too much of the scene. Oh, nice. We get a comic collection from Jesse, as well as the spider armor. Bit of swag there.
Golden.
Absolutely.
And it looks like Jesse is going to keep just slow enough to make sure that Venom doesn't stick around on the building. And now Fetty heading into Venom 1.
And now it looks like neither runner has accidentally triggered cutscene skip. One early way to tell we've figured out is that if you see on the building that Jesse has just jumped into when Spider-Man first swings, the broken window texture should be on the wall, even though there's no broken window or kind of entranceway there. So that wasn't there for either runner, so it looks like neither one has accidentally triggered the cutscene skip, unintentionally or intentionally. So
You're on fire, baby.
So we got a fairly clean fight from Fetty here. Fetty, I think, is finally getting into the groove of the speed run here, and I'm expecting not too many other complicated portions for him going forward. But I think our next big one to see is going to see how God Pipes goes. I think this is something that Fetty, of course, has been a big master of, or at least puts a lot of importance on, and something that Jesse has been practicing, I believe, at least since his last race.
indeed, a lot of good movement tech is needed to pull off the God Pipes. Obviously, the first thing is making sure you know where to swing to. Just in terms of like whether or not you skip the fourth pipe or where you spin all the way around to get the fifth pipe swing. And then obviously the web cancelling is very, very crucial, and the swinging around then using your momentum to swing around the pipes, very important too. So big piece of movement tech. Jesse unfortunately missing the last hit there on Venom, so opts just to web ball him. Gets spawned right on top of him. Hits him, but hasn't got the
web glove.
Yeah, the web glove's missing. Oh, a double spawn straight on top of his head, though. That's good. That will save at least a bit of time. We get a 3. Okay, that's not too bad. He's still fairly close by.
Oh, but he misses. And there was a little bit of lag there. But
Fetty.
we're going to get that last hit.
Okay, Fetty. Nearly nailing the God Pipes, but swung a bit too low towards the last pipe. And I thought for a second might potentially risk it and go for it for the swing. But didn't, opted to land on the pipe, and will use targeting mode instead to make his way towards the end. So not as smooth as Fetty, I'm sure, would have liked, but he will make his way to Subway safely without death, which is the most important part.
All right, so now that we have a couple runners that use face cam, it's been a hot second since we've had that, aside from my race with Monch. I wonder if we're going to get any bits. Get any bits from our runners.
Oh, that's true, actually. I don't know
if Fetty's got a bit.
Yeah, I don't know if Fetty has anything prepared. Obviously, we said that he was running late and he's basically turned on the stream and got straight on. So I don't know if he does have any bits prepared. Oh, here we go. Okay, the bit is fixing the auto splitter, fixing the live split timer for himself.
Honestly, a pretty productive bit. You know what? I can get behind it. Oh wait, what's this? What's this? He's got a medical glove that he's gonna put on.
Okay, I'm interested to see where this is going.
Stream colonoscopy?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! I think that's.
Oh, he missed. Oh no, I don't know what that means.
Oh man. Well, his execution of some of these skips may be surgical, but his ability to perform actual surgery, it leaves a bit to be desired. Now he's got a calculator. I think he's calculating how much time he has left before he needs to get back on the road. But Jesse, failing God Pipes.
Classic. Oh, Jesse. Oh,
my
days. Okay, saved.
Absolutely phenomenal. He was able to save that.
Okay, yeah,
that
good.
Was a bit spooky.
Good showing from Jesse. He'll make his way now safely over to the subway. We'll see if Jesse has anything for us today. I'm not sure.
Now
again.
I think about it, since Jesse likes to hug the homies, I don't think he's going to be able to have the bandwidth to do any bits.
That's true. It
Because
depends
he's
on
got
what
a
he goes for here, yeah.
Yeah, and since he likes to hug the homies more,
Oh, we've got a
I
jump,
think
though. He might be trying to sell for
you
it
gotta-
here. Oh, no, okay. I think he
nope.
tried, saw the spitting lizard, and thought, no, never mind. Won't risk that.
right, right. But that's perfectly fine. That's the reason why we have this as an alternative strategy, should they need. For some, it's a backup. For Jesse, it's a primary option. So I'm not gonna say that it's just a backup, but Jesse pretty familiar with this strat. So now we get a nice little break on Jesse's side, just as Fetty is getting into the next level. Let's
Indeed.
see how it goes.
Frame perfect finish for Fetty. Not quite the super train that is possible. We finish a bit earlier than the train track intends to, but still a good finish nonetheless to finish right as the reaches the end. We'll see now. This is where it gets insane, as everyone will know. This is where technique comes into play and skip knowledge comes into play heavily, because this is where it basically every level from this point on involves a skip. And Fetty, interestingly, has got a nice camera angle of the ceiling. Very good. I'm sure he's loving that.
I think what happens with that is that if you're holding the targeting button, in this case L1, during the cutscene where the camera shifts upward to show you where to go, I believe that is what's going to lock that camera into place like that unless you're in targeting mode.
Yeah, it looks like he has managed to zip through the gate now. He's going to give it enough time, hopefully, to get to the end. And now we'll never know if Spider-Man skipped leg day or not in this one. What a shame. But he does finish the level. Very good.
Spider-Man hiding his workout routine in this particular case, making sure that nobody can catch up with him in that way.
Indeed. Oh, my days. Okay.
Oh, no.
It is disgusting, actually, this level in particular, how often Spider-Man just wants to swing into the water. It's really, really not fun, and I don't know why it allows you to swing so low when there's definitely things you can swing to in this level that aren't the floor. So good job, game, giving Fetty a death there, but that's fine. Will make his way through the level second time around very nicely. And so Fetty now with a decent lead going into Tunnel Crawl. Jesse only just finishing Subway now. Obviously, we know Tunnel Crawl, a bit of a crazy level, or at least can be for some runners. And we'll see again if the Flying Spider comes out. Fetty has not employed the Flying Spider trick so far. And so we'll see if he does actually opt to employ it on this level.
The Tunnel Crawl is definitely a difficult level. And as fitting for a Spider-Man game of the 90s and early 2000s, mastery of this level is what turns boys to men.
Nice.
Okay.
So
we'll go ahead and see if Fetty's going to perform the... Nope, he's not going to go for the Flying Spider. Just absolutely going to skip past it. Not going to bother. Probably a safe bet, because if you do fail the Flying Spider in just the wrong way, that means you're going back through the tunnel, baby, and you do not want that in a race.
No, absolutely not. So, another chance for Jesse to show us the skills he's been working on if he hits the Flying Spider and gain a bit of time back again on Fetty, as he's just starting Tunnel Crawl as Fetty leaves. Obviously, the trouble that Fetty had on the sewer entrance, paying a bit of dividends to that as well, that's allowed Jesse to catch up as much as he has. But so far, I have to say, if we're talking in terms of execution, I've just absolutely jinxed him. As I've said that, it's brilliant. I will stop speaking and actually just say, do you know what? Jesse's doing really well so far, and long may it continue. And that's as much as I'll say. Oh,
well,
no.
if there was any place for that commentator curse to happen, it's here. I don't think what we had to say would have had much impact on anyone's performance in Tunnel Crawl. That is just a common occurrence and a common tragedy of that level.
The thing I find most insane about Jesse's Tunnel Crawl is that you'll never see him press the R1 button, which, it's come back to bite him again, actually. Okay, so I really just actually need to stop talking when he starts doing these tricks. What I was going to say is that he never uses the R1 button because, obviously, the R1 button is very useful in this situation to be able to zip back upwards should you not manage to hit any zips. Jesse has seemingly crafted the perfect spots to be able to do this without hitting the R1 button to zip up. And right as I said that, obviously he doesn't hit it on the second half of the tunnel. So brilliant. Yeah, good going from me. Jesse will make his way across. Second time round, this time it looks like he's opting probably just for the 2 cycle. We'll wait here now. And Fetty now hoping for some good spawns on Venom 2.
Indeed. And Jesse, I don't know if Jesse's watching the stream, but again, not as far back as one might fear from having such a rough time with the tunnel crawl. If we can get past that, if he can show off some other fun skips from here, that'll be his way to help close that gap with Fetty. But again, Fetty is a seasoned runner who knows exactly what works and what doesn't.
Oh, here we go.
And there's let's see it. Jesse
Alright,
getting
lining
ready
it
for
up.
another flying spider.
Oh, okay, yeah, hits the wall cleanly.
Okay. He is in the state.
No!
And
he's
he's
in
gone
bounds.
straight through the tunnel. Yep.
Oh,
He's gone
that's
straight through the
gutsy.
hallway.
Oh, well,
Honestly,
damn, yeah.
both of those spider flies can be really tough. The fact that he even got one of them in this run is a pretty good testament to his skill. But it's not uncommon to miss one or both of those spider flies. And now Fetty getting ready for Symbiotes and Bugle skip, missing it the first time. He's going to try again, a little higher than I would expect to be.
Yeah, it looks like trying to file himself under F, under S for skip, but actually filing himself under F for F this level because I can't do it.
Oh. And there he is. He's under the floor. He's made it to the deloaded section. Second section, jump, and he's got it.
Clean. Okay. Very good. In the meantime, Jesse has hit both buttons and he's heading across to the lizard maze. We'll see how clean his zips are on that level. Fetty with the out of bounds. Oh, but out of bounds.
No.
Not quite,
He is
actually.
not. No. And I don't think he's low enough for that out of bounds. Nope, never mind.
So it
You know what?
seems we've got the
Commentator
reverse.
curse.
Yeah, reverse commentator curse for Fetty.
Fetty is doing terrible. He's not going to hit a single skip after this. And we'll just see how he deals with missing all of those skips.
Indeed. Now, it should be said as well, Jesse, I'll try not to jinx him, hopefully, but Jesse, having some really good zips actually so far, again, knowing that he doesn't press the R1 button, has managed to get some decent zips in this level. Will make his way across now, through the wall, across the roof, and into the final section to make his way to Venom 2. Fetty with very clean execution of Stop the Presses, making his way now to one of the hardest skips in the game, is Bugle Basement, has caused many a runner trouble. We do know that there is a backup strat now, should you fail this first attempt through the door here to get out of bounds. And it looks like Fetty might need to employ it. Let's see if he does, or if he'll just go and continue running forward.
No, he's going to say hi to Mike. I was going to say, Fetty hasn't been practicing a whole lot, to our knowledge, as far as he's told us at least. So it doesn't surprise me that he might not have been practicing that backup. I'll be honest, I really like... Oh, hey, Mike. I really like that backup strat if you miss the initial one, because it can be so easy to... And Fetty's got the bad cutscene. Luckily, he's not completely soft locked with that. He's able to move forward, but he has delayed that cutscene just a little bit. But what I was going to say is learning that backup can mean a lot in a race, especially because it is so easy to mess up zipping back from that door. Just a second's hesitation or a missed input can mean the difference between a skipped Bugle Basement and a no skips Bugle Basement if you don't know that backup. All right, Jesse getting ready for a skip of his own here with Symbiotes Infest.
Oh, straight through. Can he line himself? It looks like he's gone through that. Yeah, he has.
Goodness. Wow, that was a really quick skip in that. And let's see.
Lining himself up.
Yep.
Oh. No.
Nope, he missed it. He missed it. He had a really good setup for that. And he just missed the exact loading spot. That spot is generous, but it is only so generous. And speaking of generous exit triggers, we're going to see Fetty doing warehouse skip, or at least attempting to. Let's see it go. And he's through the wall. And off he goes.
Here we go. Is he going to hit it? I think he's fine too. Yes, certainly is.
Yes.
Beautiful.
All right.
Well, in the meantime, Jesse, it looks like, unfortunately, managing to get himself out of bounds, but didn't swing underneath the wall this time, and so he's opting to go the no-skips route, heading across the whole level, saving all the hostages, and making his way to the elevator that way. So, again, putting him a little bit behind in comparison to Fetty here. So it will take a lot of catching up now, and a lot of mistakes, in theory, on Fetty's part as well for Jesse to pull this one back. But it is not over yet. Not over yet. But we're close.
This is another level where understanding both methods of performing a skip is key, because as you've seen from maybe a couple runners so far, there is an alternative way to do Symbiotes and Vestibugle skip. However, jumping into a wall can be a little bit tougher than performing the zip skip. And then Jesse getting a good elevator.
Out of bounds the first time. Like to see it. Let's see if you can replicate that on Stop the Presses. If you can get out of bounds nice and quickly on this level as well, towards the end. Right, now here we go. Now, Fetty, I'm not sure if he's had any practice at all of the new Stopping the Fog skip. I wonder if he will just go for this as regular. Yeah, it looks like he will. So, Fetty will take the classic route around the switches here. Stopping the Fog, hitting all 3 switches.
Indeed. And chat makes a fairly good point. The strat of cutscene skipping for Stopping the Fog isn't too difficult a strat, so I wonder if it's just because Fetty hasn't been practicing that skip at all and doesn't feel confident with it, or if maybe our little Geneva convention for setting up cutscene skip is preventing him from doing so. It's hard to say.
That's
or
true.
maybe he just forgot. Maybe he just forgot. Sometimes the simplest answer is the correct one. Oh, Jesse jumping straight
very
into
good.
fire.
Got a bit scared then. He didn't use the wall as a lineup, which you don't tend to see very many people do. Oh,
And
but
Jesse
no.
is into the void. Let's see it again.
Okay. Well, we're at a point now for Fetty that could be crucial, just for the sake of bragging points now. Notorious for not hitting the one cycle here on Dr. Octopus, but potentially by mentioning this with the reverse commentator curse that Fetty seems to have active right now on this run, we may see the one cycle here right now. Let's see. He's got 2 more buttons to hit. We'll say hi to Mike again on Jesse's side.
And of course, bye, Mike.
Okay, 1 button left. Gonna
And
wait
of
for
course,
it.
if Eddie doesn't hit the skip, he can always blame the hardware.
Of course.
Let's see.
Oh, I think that's the laugh. I think that's the laugh. I don't think he's got
I
it.
think he did it a little too early, and he's not jumping in from the far side, missing an input. And just a sliver of health left. Just a sliver of health left. And yet it's going to cost him 40 seconds on his run. In this case.
Indeed. Jesse having a bit of a tussle with the symbiotes there. I got a bit scared for him. He was dropping very low on health. But that's fine. He has made it to the end. Thank goodness for that. And we'll chase Mysterio into the next level and into the boss fight. Fetty closing out. Doc Ock here collecting the cartridges. I think he was doing pretty well for cartridges anyway, so not a massive necessity. Up at 9 now, so definitely be fine for the Carnage level coming up next, which apparently with this new strat doesn't even really matter if you have 2 or 5 or however many wet cartridges, because it doesn't cost a whole lot with this new little web pull strategy that Sotalia seems to have cracked. It's very cool.
Again, Fetty is going for older strats in this race, or at least, safer strats than what's been found. So it doesn't surprise me that he's not doing so with this one. And that's perfectly fine. He doesn't need to. Especially when Jesse's going to get grabbed like that. Unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not sure. So I've noticed this with some of Jesse's runs. When it comes to Mysterio, I don't know if he's aware or at least well practiced enough with the positioning of the top layer where you can stand with kind of like where Spider has like 1 foot almost like off the edge of the. Oh, Fetty's upside down. I've never seen that
That's
before.
fun.
Okay, interesting. But yeah, Jesse, I don't know if he knows about where you can stand to not get grabbed on the top layer, but something to learn. Always something to learn. So that's good, at least going forward when it comes to reviewing these races and future races. But I don't know what Fetty did there and how he got upside down. That's really cool. I'd quite like to learn how to do that. Just for the swag.
That's a good swag strat.
Yeah.
Now, where are we seeing Jesse? Looks like Jesse got out of bounds in a weird spot, but he's back into the correct out of bounds position and is getting ready to do the warehouse skip.
Oh, he's
Let's
a bit
see it.
wiggling.
Oh, it's a little goofy. It's a little goofy. You might need to let go of that forward a little too late.
No,
Yeah.
okay. Don't
Yep,
think
there
he's got
is.
it.
Poor Jesse. Just missing a few of these. Honestly, he's had such a clean run leading up to tunnel crawl, honestly. But then something about tunnel crawl kind of threw him off, I think.
Yeah, I think ruined his
And
flow
he's-
a little bit, it seems. I think you're right.
Right. Fetty's been having some alternating flow this past race or these past few minutes, but Jesse really just kind of hitting a wall once he got to tunnel crawl, and kind of a shame. But that's perfectly fine. He's coming up on these last few levels as well. Fetty about to wrap things up with Monster Rock here in the next couple of minutes. So I think we can safely say that Fetty is going to be the winner of this race. But don't tune away just yet, because Jesse might have a nice little surprise for us with the Doc Ock boss fight, if the practicing he's done leading up to this is any indication.
Indeed, and you know that Jesse will hold that over Fetty, I'm sure, if he gets this, knowing that Fetty didn't in his race. So if he gets this, he at least can go on with some bragging rights.
It's gonna be amazing. I can picture the memes now if that happens.
Well, that will close us out for Willy Fetty. That'll be, I think, closer to, like a 33-minute mark with the 30 seconds that we got knocked off because of the timer stopping at the beginning. But Fetty is indeed our winner for today's first race. We will see how he feels about that in the coming interview that we'll, I'm sure, have just after we wrap up with Jesse. Jesse, it looks like we'll opt to collect the fire web, and I'm sure then as a result we'll go and try and hit these switches just in this first room. Web ball zip. Yep, let's have another one. And then one more. Beautiful. Perfectly executed. A great example of how that new trick is performed. Very, very well executed.
Amazing. And this is another one I believe found by Nilo. Nilo has been our primary source of new skips in the last few months, and it is insane what he's been able to do.
Yeah, how you even begin to theory craft this thing with the fire webs, and I don't even know how that happens, but I'm very glad that he's here to do all this stuff because I can't. So that's good. I'll just copy what he does, and that's all good.
Hey, I think that's what a lot of us new runners have been doing. We've just been copying what the Titans have been up to. Lord knows some of my first runs were based off of Fetty's stuff, for sure.
Well, let's see if Jesse can do what Fetty cannot, it seems, as he's now in with Dr. Octopus, giving him the runaround.
Oh, where is it? Where'd I put it?
Two
Let's hope
switches
Jesse
left.
doesn't get the alternative Doc Ock attack sound effect.
Oh, no.
No.
Here we go. Right, the last button has dropped. Jesse doing a quick lap before he gets there. Okay. He's hit at the right time. Oh, no, I think he's dropped that too early. Oh, that's unfortunate. That was
Yeah.
looking pretty clean up until he dropped that first combo. That's unlucky. That's unlucky. So neither of them will see the one cycle today. Very unfortunate, but a good effort all around. Jesse looking to close this out now. Fairly respectably. I think we'll have maybe another 3 or 4 minutes before we see Jesse hit the end of his race. But a good race nonetheless.
Indeed. Not one of Jesse's strongest times in this tournament so far. He's had stronger, but he's still doing fantastic work despite the setbacks that have been laid out for him, as
For sure.
unfortunate as they were.
Yeah, I think one thing to remember is the race environment, I think, is trickier than the general kind of run environment, just because the nature of knowing that you can't reset at any point, knowing that if you want to push the time, you're going to have to do some of these tricks that maybe make it a bit riskier because of the fact that you're not able to restart and you are up against another opponent who's racing at the exact same time as you. Whether or not Jesse knows where Fetty has been throughout this race, I'm not sure if that's then playing on his mind as well. So a lot of factors to consider that make the race environment a tough one for people who he looks like, yeah, struggling at the minute as well to get Carnage locked in. There we go. It looks like Will managed on this attempt. Just managed to line him up the web balls now and locked in. Brilliant. So not too much further now for Jesse.
Fantastic stuff. I have to say, I'm willing to. Ludicrous!
Nice. Good impression. Okay.
Somebody clip that. Anyway, what I was going to say, the very sincere, very serious thing I was going to say is that, oh no, is that both of these runners really set it on themselves to really push themselves. And I have to wonder if that pressure to perform as well as they can, especially because, you know, Fetty's on a time crunch and has sort of put that down to his protege, Jesse, to also get a PB. I wonder if that bit of pressure played a role in some of the things that we saw today.
Yeah,
And-
I'm sure it will have done. I'm almost certain it will have done, yeah.
But again, not the worst times we've seen in this tournament overall, especially in the seeding category. And while this might put Jesse on the lower end of his tournament times, still a pretty solid time considering all the things that happened. A lot of what happened wasn't due to poor execution or anything like that. Some of it just came down to just simple bad luck. And that's just the reality of some of these races.
Yeah, and
And commentator curse.
of course, we can't count that out as well. It is definitely our fault. 80% of this run, I'm almost certain, is probably our fault, as it seems to always be. But that's fine. We move on, and we just have to hope that it doesn't happen every time, which hasn't seemed to have worked out so far, it has to be said. But that's fine. So it does look like, according to the results, just to give people a kind of preview of the future, Jesse, with this loss, will face off in another rematch, actually, from the previous seeding stage, up against Crypto next. He'll be facing off against Crypto, which Jesse does hold the advantage there, in that he won his previous race against Crypto. So going into that one with a slight advantage, you'd like to think. Whereas Fetty is moving on to face the winner of myself and Zojalix, which in theory will be happening tomorrow. We don't have that confirmed definitely yet, but it should be happening tomorrow, all things being well. So that, I'm sure, will be a good race for Fetty. I'm sure he's very excited for that one.
Indeed. I thought you were about to say that Jesse was going to be facing off against me, and I was about to clutch my 35-16 like a set of pearls against my chest. Like, no, please leave me alone.
Yeah.
Although that would be a fun rematch as well, to face off against Jesse. Man, I could use a win in the tournament. But enough about me. Looks like Jesse is coming down to this final hallway, and we are heading out with a 40-27 for Jesse. He's not looking too thrilled about that. I can understand why, but still a perfectly fine run to go through. Hello, Jesse.
I'm disappointed with myself. Oh, fuck.
That was some rough luck for both of you, honestly. That was some
Really?
rough luck. Uh but yeah, that's rough, buddy.
Uh,
But
Hey, I'm so
hey,
proud of you.
absolutely.
I'm disappointed just because I missed all my skips. And also, I just had terrible luck in general.
You did get Spiderfly for Scale the Girders, though.
I did get it.
So not everyone can do that. A lot of people are gonna end up having to do the backup for that. So congrats about that. So other than the obvious, anything specific you want to share your feelings about when it comes to your run today?
Don't trust anyone in the game. Everyone's your enemy.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Commentators included. Fetty, how about you?
No, you guys are fine. It's just the enemies in here.
I
They
mean,
just didn't like me today.
I will say that I feel like I ran well and just had bad luck. Like the hostage situation was like just giving me the wrong hostages was great, but like everything else, like I feel like I ran really solid. It just came down to like not execution. It was just bad luck on my part. But I'm pretty happy with my run, especially my monster rock was for some reason insane. I have no idea what that was. But and then getting sniped on one cycle by a centimeter of health is great. So but other than that, like I do feel like I was running really fast even though I like died and everything like that. Like I still feel or had to restart levels like twice. I honestly I feel like if I was running at that caliber without any mistakes, I probably would have PB'd hard. So I'm pretty proud of it.
Good. And good job with dealing with that weird camera setup in the one level, still getting past the gate despite the fact that the camera was turned up and getting to finish the level despite it.
Yeah, I was I've had that happen to me once before, but never to that extent of me not being able to like get through the grate because of the camera. But I'm glad I was able to dude, if I had to restart that level, I was going to freak out. So I'm glad I was able to keep my cool and get through that level.
Very nice. Very nice stuff. Well, I know we're a bit of a time crunch here, especially since we're already eating into the time for the next race. But any final thoughts from either of you? Let's start with Fetty.
I mean, honestly, like I'm excited to race whoever I got to race next. I'm proud of Jesse. Like he's came a long way. Race environments versus PB environments, like, streaming on your own is just, it's a whole different breed. So even being able to like, keep your focus and keep up, like, honestly, it put stress on me, like, even because I wasn't watching the stream. So it put stress on me knowing that Jesse can achieve stuff for, it just kept me on edge too. But yeah, no, I'm proud of Jesse, and also like I'm just happy with my run, honestly.
Very nice. How about you, Jesse?
I just need a lot of improvement, honestly. There's a lot of stuff that there's a few stuff that I was just like, why isn't this working? Like, what was it? The biggest one that just threw me off the edge, I think, was a hostage situation. I think at that point, that's when I wavered, and that probably doubted me throughout the whole run, just because I couldn't get through that get out of bounds. I had to restart like maybe 3 times. So I think it's just more practicing on movement, I guess.
Hostage situation has been a silent killer for a lot of races in this tournament. So good work pushing past those difficulties as best as you could. So Spyron, any last thoughts here before we move things along?
Yeah, I think just a really good example, I guess, of different techniques used. Obviously, Jesse nailing some tricks and not nailing some others, and Fetty just kind of showing us exactly why he is one of the best runners in this game, despite some of the mishaps, still being able to close out some levels very solidly. And so just a really good race overall. And yeah, I think that pretty much sums up nicely. Let's go into a quick break then as we get Sotalia and Mr. Monch set up for the next one. So we'll be back very shortly. In the meantime, please enjoy the music and we'll see you soon. Bye.